Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Cliff Soccer Zone. Today, we're going to talk about Andrea Berta, who, according to multiple sources, Fabrizio Romano, Mate Moretto, and David Ornstein, has agreed to become Arsenal's brand new sporting director, replacing the departed Edu Gaspar, who left the club as the sporting director, resigned as the club's sporting director back in November, and Jason Ato was his interim replacement. But now it appears that Andrea Berta, the former Atletico Madrid man, is set to take over as the long-term replacement for Edu Gaspar as the Arsenal sporting director. So, looking back at Andrea Berta's previous positions in the football world. In 2002, he was the sporting director for now Serie D side AC Carpendillo. Apologize for my pronunciation of that. From 2002 to 2006. And then from Carpendello, he became Parma's sporting director, where he was the sporting director there from 2007, from January 3rd, 2007 to September 1st, 2009. Then from Parma, he became Genoa's sporting director, which is the role that he held from September 1st, 2009 to June 30th, 2012. And then now in moving to the role that the club that most people associate Andrea Berta, he became Atletico Madrid's technical director in May 1st, 2013, and in July 14th, 2017, he became Atletico Madrid's sporting director. And throughout his tenure, Atletico Madrid have had an incredible period, winning several honors, especially which, as people are aware, in La Liga, you have the two big clubs, Real Madrid and Barcelona, who typically win the large majority of the trophies in Spain. And Atletico Madrid have started to, since around the time that Diego Simeone took over the club, as well as Andrea Berta joining the club, have essentially established themselves as the third biggest club in Spain. And in Andrea Berta's time at Atletico Madrid, they've won the La Liga title in 2013-14, as well as in 2020-2021 during COVID. They also have won a Super Cup de España in 2014. They also won the Europa League in 2017-2018. They won the UEFA Super Cup as well as the UEFA Super Cup in 2018. So for the fact that on paper it may not seem the largest trophy haul in the world, but when you put it into the perspective of Atletico Madrid competing with the two biggest clubs in Barcelona and Real Madrid, getting two La Ligas, a Super Cup de España, as well as a Europa League and a UEFA Super Cup, that's a pretty good trophy haul when you're dealing with facing the two biggest clubs in Spain, who earn a large portion of the money and in ad revenue, television revenue from La Liga. So it's kind of hard in that regard to compete with them. But they've done, the combination of Berta and Simeone have done wonders in, as I've said, making Atletico Madrid arguably the third biggest club in Spain. And looking at some of Andrea Berta's notable signings from his time as the technical director and sporting director of Atletico Madrid, he bought João Felix for 127 million, which unfortunately for Atletico Madrid was not a move that paid off in that much. Yes, he helped them win the La Liga title in 2020-2021, but in terms of how much they paid for him and what they got out of him, and what they ended up selling him for, that signing was not the most successful in that regard. But a much more successful signing. He was responsible for signing for this season Julian Alvarez for 75 million euros up to 95 million euros, and that has been a fantastic signing for Atletico Madrid, and he has been the driving force in this this current Atletico Madrid team, and has been looked like a genius signing, especially as I've mentioned in previous videos as well as on my Twitter/X page, also at Cliff Soccer Zone, that you can tell just how good of a player Julian Alvarez is based on how Manchester City are doing right now, how they are struggling massively with his absence in terms of finding extra creative outlets to try to get the ball to Erling Haaland, as well as finish off chances that normally, if the chances were falling that Man City are getting, would have fallen to Julian Alvarez if he was still there. He's scoring a lot of many more of those chances than the current Manchester City side. And my belief is if Julian Alvarez was still at Man City, they wouldn't be nearly as bad as they are currently. Another signing that he made, Thomas Lemar, for 72 million euros. He also signed Diego Costa for 60 million euros, which was a fantastic signing for Atletico Madrid. You also have a great signing this year, Conor Gallagher, who for 42 million euros, who has been is a very typical Diego Simeone signing and has fit very well into Diego Simeone's side. You also have Rodrigo de Paul, who for 35 million euros, who has been a stalwart in the Atletico Madrid and Diego Simeone's team over the past few seasons, as well as a World Cup winner with Argentina in the Qatar 2022 World Cup. You also have Mateus Cunha for 35 million euros, who didn't necessarily perform well at all at Atletico Madrid, but they were eventually able to make a slight profit on selling him to Wolverhampton Wanderers, where he is essentially their talisman, Wolves. You have Antoine Griezmann, who he actually was able to, for 30 million euros, was able to sign him or at least around that period, from Sociedad for relatively cheap. Then he was able to sell him to Barcelona for a ridiculously high fee, and it didn't work out at Barcelona for Antoine Griezmann, and Berta was able to buy Griezmann back for a fraction of the price that he sold him for at 30 million euros. Then you have, and as I said, Antoine Griezmann is, at least also as well in my opinion, is in the conversation for greatest player to ever play for Atletico Madrid. And at least in terms of the numbers, yes, unfortunately, he doesn't have the trophy haul to back it up, but in terms of output, he's in the conversation for one of the better strikers in La Liga history, in my opinion. Then you have Rodri, who, as we all know, recently just won. Berta bought Rodri for 20 million euros to Atletico Madrid. He then sold him to Manchester City, and we've seen how good of a player Rodri has come, but Berta saw the vision and realized that this player is going to be an excellent player, and last year he won the Ballon d'Or, which, as I said, doesn't really need much more explaining in terms of the rise from his time previously in his career to becoming a Ballon d'Or winner as a defensive midfielder, which there aren't too many defensive players in that position who have actually won that award, just to put into significance how good of a player Rodri is. Then you now have, as well, we're going to Jan Oblak for 16 million euros, who, in my opinion, is in the conversation for one of the best goalkeepers over the past decade or so, and which has been an incredible signing from Berta and Atletico Madrid's perspective. And as I said, in my opinion, in the conversation for one of the best goalies over the past decade. Then you have, which turned out to be an incredible signing, especially for that 2020-2021 season, Berta was able to buy Luis Suarez from Barcelona, who Barcelona at the time didn't want Luis Suarez anymore, for only 9 million euros, and then Luis Suarez helped Atletico Madrid win the La Liga title in that COVID year, 2020-2021. So an excellent signing, 9 million euros, scored over 20 goals in that particular season for Atletico Madrid, and was one of the main driving forces as to why they won the La Liga title that season. So 9 million euros well spent, in my opinion, as well as most of Atletico Madrid and Berta, most Atletico Madrid fans, as well as the Andrea Berta. Then you had Diogo Jota for 7 million euros, who they were able to didn't necessarily perform too well at Atletico Madrid, but again, they were able to make a decent profit, only buying him for 7 million euros, and making a profit. Then you also have Toby Alderweireld for only 7 million euros, who again, they were able to make money in that particular signing, selling him to Tottenham. Selling him to Tottenham. So essentially, that's the list of notable signings that Andrea Berta made during his time at Atletico Madrid. And in my opinion, at least, I think he's going to be give the Arsenal boardroom, as well as the first team, he's going to be a great addition in terms of he's one of the most sought after sporting directors in all of Europe. AC Milan were very interested in bringing him in to help them out at being their sporting director, but he actually turned AC Milan down and only wanted Arsenal. So this is a major coup for Arsenal Football Club, getting one of the top sporting directors over the past decade, sporting/technical director of the past decade, who has done tremendous work at Atletico Madrid with Diego Simeone. And I think he'll be an excellent addition to Arsenal, and helping them with either identifying the right players to sign, helping maybe to find some bargains, which, at least from being the sporting director at Arsenal versus being the sporting director at Atletico Madrid, is going to be more challenging for Berta, but I think he'll be able to find some decent gems for decent prices, as well as be able to drive negotiations in terms of finishing the job and securing the top talent. That is something that many people criticized Edu Gaspar in his time as Arsenal sporting director, as being unable to help secure the top talents. A lot of people accused him of only being able to get players via a release clause. So that maybe will be something that Berta is more skilled at, in acquiring and convincing the top talent to join the club. So, as I said, a massive day in the history of Arsenal Football Club. Andrea Berta is Arsenal's new sporting director, and only time will tell if this ends up being a good appointment or not, but at least for me, I'm pretty optimistic in terms of what Berta can do at Arsenal. And thanks again for watching the video. I would appreciate if you could like, comment, subscribe, interact with my content. You could also follow me on my Twitter/X @CliffSoccerZone. And again, thanks for watching the video. Take care.